This video is going to walk you through settings adjustments in your accounts. So to access the settings page associated with each account, you need to first click into the account itself by selecting your name or your email here. Then I'm going to go to what we call the hamburger menu, three-lined menu in the top right corner, and I will go down to settings, 4 from the top there. In the top right section here, you're going to want to adjust your time zone to wherever the LinkedIn account is associated with. You can pick your time zone up top here, or you can click around as well. Just make sure to hit apply, and it will change there for you. The way that the software functions is it does about one action every 8 to 12 minutes between whatever hours you have set here. It's never going to send an invite or a message outside of these hours. You do have the option to go into turbo mode here. I would caution you to only use turbo mode if it is a very strong LinkedIn account with quite a bit of connections and quite a bit of activity already. Turbo mode will about double your outreach, so instead of one action every 8 to 12 minutes, it should be one action, whether that's an invite or a message, every 4 to 6 minutes. You do have the option to work on weekends. I always recommend to everybody to keep that selected. I think that a lot of people often just go on LinkedIn on the weekends, and I don't think it's worth slowing down your outreach because those are 2 extra days a week that you're going to be able to reach out to people, and I think that is crucial. So I like to leave that on, and make sure anytime you make a change here that you are saving this by hitting the update bar at the bottom of each section. I click this, it's just going to save any changes that I've made. Now the invite manager here, it's automatically set at 1500 for you. I recommend leaving it there, but what that's doing is it's deleting any outstanding invite past 1500, starting with the oldest ones. Reason being, this keeps it very clean in LinkedIn and allows you to reach out to people and move to the top of their inbox if they haven't responded to you in quite some time. Next here, we'll go through your connector, priority, and activity manager. This will be auto set to have your regular connection requests come first, invite by email second, open in mails third, and group messages last. This is the order that I would recommend on any new account. However, you do have the option to swap these around if you'd like to. For regular connection requests, the way LinkedIn works with this is everybody on LinkedIn is limited to how many requests they can send out per week. This resets usually about every Sunday for people, and it could be anywhere between 100 to 200 invites per week that are allowed. Once the software hits whatever limit you have set here, it's going to move on to the next option. So let's say I have this set at 90. It's going to try to send out 90 regular connection requests. The reason why I wouldn't want to push this to the max necessarily is this gives me about 10 extra requests per week that I could manually add people outside of the software. If I stretch this to 100, which is fine to do, all that means is after the software gets to 100 invites that it's sent out, if you are manually on LinkedIn trying to add someone, you might see a pop-up from LinkedIn that's telling you hit your limit for the week. So for some of my clients, I like to have this at 90. That way this gives them about 10 extra invites or maybe even more that they would be able to utilize manually on LinkedIn themselves. Now once we hit the limit here, it's going to move to our option, which is invite by email. This is the majority of your outreach probably that you will see in your account. If we know someone's email that's associated with their LinkedIn, LinkedIn allows you to connect with them past your limit from up here. We are tapping into our large database, and at this point we have quite a few people's emails, so this shouldn't slow you down at all. It's just going to automatically switch to this process in the software on the back end if you have this as your second priority here. So it's going to continue connecting to people by email as much as possible. However, if for some reason it's not able to connect by email, it will move to this third priority here, which is if someone has allowed open InMail access via their sales navigator, then we will target them that way by sending them an InMail message. Feel free to look up a separate tutorial on open InMail messages and where to make sure you have the right messaging. Next, if it's not able to send an open InMail, it will attempt to send a group message. Now, you are only able to send a group message to someone that you are in the same group with, and it does show up in a different messaging spot within LinkedIn. Please take a look at our group messages tutorial for more information on that. This is the order that I would recommend every new account start with, but feel free again to adjust this as you see fit. On the top left section here, you just want to make sure that you have your LinkedIn profile URL placed here correctly. You're going to want to make sure you have the full URL. You get that from when you view your profile on LinkedIn. You can snag that from the top. Next, you're going to want to make sure your notification email is updated. This is just for your admin team to see, and it's where you would like them to reach out to you. Next, if you'd like to download our Chrome extension, which I highly recommend, you download it here. Please see our separate tutorial for exact information on how to do that. I'm going to skip over this account settings section. There will be a separate video to go through each of those, but this is where you would access those toggles. Next important section here is our labels section. This is a very important feature in the software that will allow you to keep your conversations organized and will give you data on which campaigns are working better than others. So I highly recommend that you set this up. It's all customizable for yourself and that you use the labels within the inbox. There is a separate video on the inbox and where to use the labels, but this is where you set those up initially. Now to add a new label, I hit the plus sign here and it's going to allow me to title the label here. And I click on this box to pick a fun color to go with that label. I recommend once you set a label and start using it to not change it because that can change your data down the line. Now to remove a label, I can hit this X. If I want to hide the label from my list in the inbox, I can hide it by clicking this eyeball button. I can reorder my labels by dragging and dropping them. I can clone labels from another account, and I can sort labels here as well by dragging and dropping. Again, make sure to hit the update bar always to save your changes as you go along. That does it for our settings page. Please look at the other tutorials for more specifics on anything that we breezed over here.